Hello, all, and welcome to the first episode of Kadai Talks. We are from the Rotary Club of Lisset. I am Nitishri,
And I'm Muhammad Hamdan.
here as your host for the first episode. This being the very first episode of our podcast, today's conversation is going to be on something that can never be spoken too much of: mental illness. So grab your cup of tea or coffee if you're a coffee person like me. Go to that corner that you absolutely love and let us get on with breaking the stigma around mental health. Michelle Obama once said, and I quote, "Whether an illness affects your brain, your leg, or your heart, it's still an illness, and there should be no distinction." To ponder more on this topic, we have our very own Miss Sejojaral, with whom we, the students of Lisset, got the opportunity to witness her magic firsthand. Thank you, ma'am, for being here.
Thank you, Nitya, for having me here.
Ma'am is a soft skill trainer whose area of expertise is handling people who are between the age group of 16 to 25 years old. Now, you all might be wondering why we got ma'am for such a topic. Well, during our sessions at Lisset, no one could connect to the students the way ma'am did. Be the conversation about facing failures, or goal setting, or how to deal with your past, be it anything. Ma'am, you took the topic as a whole, had a conversation about it with us, and left the students in awe of the new perspective that you showed. Thank you for being here, ma'am, and I'm sure every one of our listeners will connect to the conversation like the way you did with us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having made time for us today. And yes, Nidha, you were totally right about how we were all able to connect with ma'am
Exactly.
so well. Yeah, so I still remember the time she came to our college to conduct a session on life, and personally, I loved it. And that's why our team felt that there wasn't any other person better than her.
Exactly.
So, thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining us on our first episode.
Really, those words were very generous to hear from you too, Nitya and Amdan. My experience with the youth today is that, the truth about the youth is they are all well thought about what is happening with them. They actually have better clarity than our times. I mean, when I say our times, when I was in college in 2000 and all that, we have not really thought about our future. We've not really put in
Mhm.
a lot of thought about what we want in life, what is important to us. And this generation particularly, I feel they have invested a lot of time in analyzing themselves. So my role as a trainer usually in the classroom is to bring about that thought in them, guide them to take them to that point where they will get into that self realization mode, to get them thinking. That's about it. What I do is uh, get them to think what they actually want to think, just guiding them into those lines. And I think when we do that, we connect well. That's about it. That's what I feel.
Exactly.
Uh, wow, you surely uh, did connect well with us that day. And yeah, I really hope that the listeners who that they really that they enjoy this episode. And so let's get started.
Sure.
Okay. So attached to mental health is a notion set by the society that
Mhm.
there is no such thing as mental illness, that those who claim to be undergoing mental illness or depression are only trying to receive some attention. But is that really true? So, wait, let me just throw in a bit of facts here. About 1 in 5 Americans actually have faced mental health issues in their lifetime, and 1 in 10 adolescents have experienced a major period of depression. And here's the killer: around 800,000 deaths occur, suicidal deaths, globally every year, and that is known to be the second leading cause of death among ages between 15 to 29. And that is totally shocking. If that is not telling us the importance of mental health, then I don't know what is. And ma'am, how do you think we can actually counter this notion set by the society?
See, Hamdan, if you see, you just gave us a data about the US, right? So 1 in 5. You know how the data is
Yeah.
in place because they have gone ahead, taken this very seriously, and they've analyzed and they've come up with this result. What is happening to us is, in India, the highest suicide rate is happening in Tamil Nadu, and that is again happening with the youth here. people in the IT sector mostly, and 80% of the youth who are committing suicide are educated. The only a problem is that there is a gap between reality, what is actually happening with us, and how we are dealing with it. It is usually shunned away beneath the carpet, because
Yeah.
mental health, that term itself, is been perceived as something which is really wrong. That is a sect of people who have to be chained. The immediate image that people get is, oh, something is terribly wrong with this kid, so they have to go to a mental asylum.
Exactly, chain them up. Like
Yeah,
put
chain
them
them
in
up.
a mirror.
Yeah, which is not the case. All of us are going through this. All of us at some point are going through stress, anxiety, depression, more so with the youth today, because unrealistic expectations are set by the society for them, and they themselves set unrealistic expectations on themselves. That is the reason why this is happening amongst the youth today. And thank you guys for bringing this topic up, and let's talk and see if we can make some sense out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We need to sort of stop making people believe that mental health is nothing. We can't just ignore something that's
A
happening.
taboo kind of a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Break the
So,
stigma around it.
Hmm.
exactly. So, do you have any of your own experiences, ma'am, that you would want to share with us? Like anything at all?
Yeah, simply because I'm like 20 years elder than y'all itself, I would have more experiences than y'all in this area. Because, with life, we tend to have a lot of episodes of stress, depression, and all that. To share with y'all, during my college days, like all of y'all, I've also sent to, the option was between doctor or an engineer. And yeah, I went into an engineering college. It was difficult for me to fit in, initially understand the world itself. Slowly, when I got to the second year, there was a time in that point where my semester exams were around the corner. I had a bad fight between me and my group of friends. So two of them were very close to me. There was a backbiting episode, you can call it.
Okay.
Then my dad was also not well. So all this combined, and there was a dark time then. So I was in the hospital with my dad because he was not well, and the doctor happened to be a family friend of ours, and he said, your daughter's breathing is not right. So she's having this huff puff thing. She's not breathing right. And so I was monitored. My oxygen levels were monitored for a couple of days, and he told me that she is going through depression. She is depressed. So you have to. So now that this depression, going through depression, is not a bad thing. Most of the students who were in that age, that facing their exams and facing issues, go through this. And I also was one of them who went through this. And luckily, there was a doctor who looked at it and explained it to my dad. And from then on, my dad kept a close look at my life for a couple of months. He was asking me, are you back with your friends? Have you mended your terms with your friends? How are you facing the exams? Are you finding it stressful for you, because you just moved from this Anglo-Indian casual school setup to a very strict college setup where you have to do more subjects, more number of hours, and all that. And in a couple of months, I was fine. Because it felt like somebody understood me, somebody spoke to me about my real problems, and it helped me a lot in that sense.
Exactly, ma'am. First of all, thank you for sharing that, sharing something from your own life. So from your experience, the doctor say was able to identify that your breathing is not proper, and
Mm.
that this is the way one should not breathe, and then he was able to come to a conclusion that it was depression, right, ma'am? And
Yes.
then later on your dad looked after you and ensured that you were all right after a couple of months or so.
True.
So um, for us, we, like, engineering is very stressful. We spend most of our day in college, and after college is over, other activities are there. So
Mm.
all that we can do is be with our friends, and how can we, being with them, identify if the other person is going through something? Because we're all running around the day, we don't have any other extra set of skills to look at anyone personally. But how can you identify if someone is going through,
Mm.
say, facing something mentally?
Sure, Nitya. I would give a little brief on that, and I'll also recommend that you guys go back and do a little bit research on this, right? Because it's very very
Okay.
important that this it's like the need of the hour. So, for you to understand mental health, it's just about how we think, feel, and behave, right? And how we handle our day to day activities, how we are balancing out our responsibilities, and how we are able to make some positive change in the society. This is a normal. Are you able to manage your life stresses well, your
Mhm.
activities well, your responsibilities well, and are you able to go forward with life with ease? That's about mental health. So this includes that you can feel stressed, you can feel depressed, you can feel anxious, you can feel guilty, you can feel all of that, and it is perfectly fine. Now when the problem comes is from here, from this normal depression phase that we go through, like say I am down for a couple of days, hey today I don't feel like doing anything, yeah, I don't want to do anything, I'm just feeling a little low. From there, when it goes on to say 2 weeks, about 14 days in a row,
Mhm.
you are feeling five out of the nine clinically approved signs that you face, right? So now from depression we are shifting to clinical depression, and if people are feeling that, seeing that, you will have to seek out to a counselor, or you have to seek out to those kids parents or someone who can actually take them and help them out. Okay, so that the warning signs, would be a strong depressed feeling that is with you for 14 days, inability to feel pleasure. You used to enjoy certain things like music, hanging out with friends, you're not able to enjoy that. You're losing or gaining weight, but you didn't plan for that. You didn't plan for losing or gaining weight. You're
Okay.
sleeping excessively, or you're sleeping very less. You are seeing that your friends are slowing down. Before he used to
Okay.
be like jumpy, fun loving, now suddenly he's slowing down. He's seeing he's always putting his head down in the classroom, no
Out of the
energy.
ordinary kind of
Out
thing.
of the honor, he's not that kind of guy. But then you will have other set of guys who like to be alone, and like that is his nature. We're not talking about them, we are talking about friends. Now from who and how he was, he has changed into something he's not, right? He was not a person who was not like this. You will be able to observe that, and you will be able to tell that by just looking at them. Suddenly you're feeling that he's not he was doing well in his studies, suddenly he's backed out from his studies, not doing well in his studies. He's not able to focus, and he's skipping bunking classes for a long time, not opening up and saying that, hey ella, okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, and he's leaving the crowd and going off, and showing signs of suicidal tendencies, talking about it, or talking very high about suicides. If you come across five out of these things and you feel strongly that something is wrong with them, try and talk to them. Now, this is a clear differentiation from demarcation from depression to clinical depression. So you would have to seek help for them. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that time limit is, I think, the key essence here. 14
Yeah.
days. So
Mm.
everyone goes through something or the other in their day, but if that
Mm.
persists, then we definitely have to seek help for them.
Yes, Nitya, true.
Yes.
Yeah, what you said makes a lot of sense, ma'am. Also, ma'am, we are just talking about how we face emotions, how we have to be. I mean, mental health in general is about a person's, how they feel mentally, they're happy or not, they're depressed. I mean, it's basically emotions. So if we want to be happy, one important thing that we need to stop doing is compare ourselves with others. And in this era of social media, uh,
Mm.
most of us actually tend to compare ourselves with other people. We kind of follow hashtags and trends, and we kind of believe that that's what makes you look cool. But in honest truth, I personally feel that's not correct at all, because you just have to be your own self, right? And introverts especially, who can't really, who face difficulties socializing with people, talking with people, stuff like that. they kind of feel hindered, or they are even more secluded than they were before because of social media and stuff like that.
That's a very pertinent question, Hamdan. Like social media, like how it is ruling the roost for us, you know.
Yeah.
Like, let me ask you guys, right? What makes you happy, and what makes Nitya happy? Let me hear what makes you all happy.
Right now, what makes me happy is just go to the terrace with my favorite book and read it while I watch the sunset. That's all I want. Just
Okay.
go to
Well,
there.
Mm.
I want exams to be cancelled.
Uh,
Whoa.
okay, exams don't make you happy. Great. Okay, the news that exams are cancelled would make you happy. Is it? Is that it? Or in general, what
Yeah.
makes you happy?
In general, I don't know. Not a specific answer to that. Maybe do something that I really like.
Okay. So, Nitya, tell me, like, who are the people who you will call as an introvert, and
Um,
who do you think is an extrovert?
uh, Extroverts, I mean, both introverts and extroverts uh, don't really share most of their feelings. The thing
Mm-hmm.
is, extroverts be social around, like jump around, have conversation with everyone that they see,
Mm-hmm.
talk to everyone that they meet, and be all hyped up and be basically keep smiling and laughing. Extroverts
Mm-hmm.
and introverts, I think they will draw that circle around them, and they will only ensure that only themselves and one other person is inside that circle. Meaning they'll strictly keep whatever they feel inside that. Meaning they don't share to everyone. They don't smile at everyone. They'll just
Mm.
mind their own business. That
Okay, when you're labeling someone as an extrovert, as an introvert, we would quickly say that this person is an introvert because the person is shy and secluded, right?
exactly, that's the notion of the society.
No,
If
that's a
we can,
notion of the society. And again, there is another notion that, being an extrovert is good. Being an introvert is
exactly,
is, is bad.
I
This,
feel that's totally stupid, man.
you feel Hamdan would feel that because with this pace and voice itself, we know that he's a secluded, calm person. Don't bother, don't come into my circle, right? Let me just be me. Now, this originated, this concept of extroverts being good and introverts being, it's originated because there were studies early on, just a few years back. The
Okay.
study said that extroverts do well in at work, they are more successful. There were studies published like that, and it said they shine and they reach up the ladder quick. So immediately everybody wanted to become an extrovert. Don't So introversion started to be viewed, it people started viewing introverts as in a bad thing, a bad light. Okay,
Hmm.
so that is where the problem is. There is no You can't simply say that just because a person is a bubbly, smiling a lot, having fun, because of that person is an extrovert, and that is good. A person who can be an introvert outside can be very, very happy and jumping around in their house. Do you understand? Based
yes,
on situation, based on the surrounding, people can. It is a continuum. One can act like an extrovert if they decide today, right? I'm going to get to office this year. I'm going to show who I am to the office people, and I'm going to exhibit what I've got. And you decide, you can go ahead and do it. That is fine, right? And there is no study or research that says that introverts are happy. You can't really name a person and say this person, because this person is shy, this person is a sad person. Not true.
exactly.
You can be secluded and you can be happy as well. Now, coming back to the first part of the question, when you said the social media, people are happy, they what is happiness? Now, that's why I asked you, what is happiness to you, right? If you go scientific about this, they'd say there are four hormones and
The brain,
neurotransmitters. Yeah, oxytocin, serotonin,
dopamine,
dopamine, yeah. And for us, what works for me will not work for you again. Certain things would make me happy, release these hormones, and even addictions can release these hormones. We have to be cautious about what we chose. The right activities to release these hormones for us, like exercising, or like spending time with friends and family, like family hugs, a lot of things that can be practiced in a longer run, right? That works for me, and if I take it, it's good. And all these happiness secreting things have to be kept at a balance again. Now, the University of Psychology, the Harvard University Medical Sciences report says that it is proven that uh, Facebook and social media usage releases dopamine, and it is an addiction. That is why people are the first wake of the moment or take their phones and see the phones. Have you seen
Yeah.
friends like that? They
Yeah,
can't be
I've
without
seen
looking
it
at.
in my cousins, friends, everyone.
Yeah,
Immediately you wake up, first thing you grab is phone. Not water, not toothbrush even.
yeah, it's not just limiting with 25 within the age of 25. Yeah, it's throughout. People are
Exactly.
addicted. You are not able to leave the phone aside, keeping your phone and searching for your phone. When you the moment when you're not able to find the phone, and it's called as FOMO, fear of missing out. And people are addicted to this. This is really happening. And anything, not just Facebook, not just this fads will be changing. Not just one thing, anything that is going out of balance more than the required amount of time you're spending in something. It can be any game, activity, that is creating a sense of addiction, that is disrupting your daily routine. You have to go back and check it, right? It's all about maintaining a balance, isn't it? So you have to decide. If Amdan decides or Nitya decides, okay, this is what is giving me happiness, stick with that, right? We don't have to yield to the pressure of following or being in trend, or it's just the decision that we make, right?
Exactly, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to be
And
ourselves.
since we just spoke about how dopamine is released
Mm.
once you see your social media, I just want to put in a new perspective or say additional information that I gained out of a book. So
Mm.
there's this book called Where Will Man Take Us from by Atul Jalan.
Mm.
So I just finished reading that book today morning. And one of the interesting perspectives that I liked in that book was that social media does not bring us together, but it divides us into like minded people because our followers and our trends or our Instagram page is filled with what we click that like button for.
Mm.
Meaning, whenever dopamine is released in your mind, you click that like or you tend to be attracted towards those people. So the point I'm getting at is here is that not only social media is addictive, but that it divides you into only similar group of people that you are forbidden from gaining new perspectives about yourself or about the conversation that you're having, which is again a bad thing, right?
Yeah, couldn't
You
agree more with you. And Nitya is just reiterating my point when I said,
exactly.
in the beginning of the conversation, I said, uh, today's youth, right? I will say they have thought about it. I'm recommending you all to go and search and find your own truth. Number one, spend some time in analyzing about you. Okay, what you stand for, why am I doing what I am doing, right? Just ask that simple question, and you will have better answers than what I am suggesting you to have. And everything that is coming towards you, any information that's coming your way, any fad that is coming your way, any information that's coming your way, please go back and research and find your truth, because you would find 10-15 papers published for it, another 10-15 papers published against it. So you have to do your sensible research, compare with your culture, your lifestyle, what you stand for, your values, find a perfect match and build your rules. And I'm telling you, that will never let you down. It will bring in a lot of clarity. It will build your self confidence. It will tell you clearly, what do I stand for? These are the values. I will devise my life accordingly. Today's youth is much more responsible with their lives. The only thing is they have to be directed in the right way, and they are good to go. Nitya just reiterated that point for me. Thanks, Nitya, for giving me that
No
input.
problem, ma'am, no problem. So speaking of social media and introverts, and I think we brushed upon a lot of topics in
Mm,
the preceding conversation that we just had,
mm,
and that brings me to a concept called forced positivity. Say if everyone faces something or the other in their day, in their life, or that week, or be it anything. But we, as being the normal humans, tend to suppress it and, force ourselves with that positivity. Go to the internet, look up a few positive quotes, and then you're like, yeah, I'm positive today, and I'm just going to go about that day. And, not actually dealing with what you're feeling, but instead forcing that positivity inside yourself, which leads to worse things. So, what is your say about forced positivity, or in general, what do you think forced positivity is doing to us?
Yeah, more than any other time in my life, this is the era which we look at more positive quotes. And yes or no? Do you see a
Yes,
lot of
yes,
positive
yes.
quotes and like stay
Yeah,
positive? Just you have to keep positive and you
No,
will achieve everything
smile.
in life.
Put on that smile. That smile is worth a million. Some nonsense there to be talking.
Sometimes some days when we are too dark, and what happens is that this brings down our mental resilience, right? Because what we are doing is we are just looking at something that is there. What this staying positivity is telling us is, you know what, there is nothing wrong with your life, everything is fine. You just have to think positively and go ahead with that thought. Will that work? Do you think that will work?
No, that is definitely not going to work.
Yeah, imagine this today's time, corona times, and him coming, put on a positive thought, stay positive, stay positive.
No, no, no. That's definitely not going to. We have to.
what what this has been confused with is this forced positivity is being confused with optimism, hope. One has to have optimism, one has to have hope in life, right? Optimism is telling you, right, today you woke up, you're not feeling like doing anything, but still you will be able to do it, don't worry, right? Today it is bad times, it's corona times, people are dying, there are disease, it is happening, yes, but one day we would be able to get out of this. Now that is optimism, that is hope that you are having in a longer run, right? We are not, now that will help you to stay connected and to help you lift you up from your fall. But you can't push aside things that are actually happening. You can't force yourself to be positive. There are two different school of thought of it. Two researchers published. One was by Susan David. She is a psychologist from the Harvard Medical University, and she talks about how forced positivity is affecting us. It's not doing us good, it is actually affecting us and ruining us of our mental resilience. What we have to take up is we have to build our emotional ability, right? When she talks about emotional agility, what she means is uh, one has to look at what is happening right now, stand up for that emotion without feeling guilty about it. Like suppose today with corona I'm feeling anxious, what's going to happen to my family, what's going to happen to my future. If you're in your final year you will feel like I've just completed my studies, what's going to happen to my placements, right? These are real worries that you have, real anxiousness that you have. Then you stand up for it and you ask, okay, I'm having this worry, what am I going to do about it? How I can manage this? And you take real steps for that. Suppose you have a habit that you've been in for some time and you want to break that habit, you break it up with another habit that will help you get over this habit. A habit can be broken only by another habit. So how you can deal with that without feeling guilty about feeling low? Sometimes the guilt about feeling low, the guilt about not matching up to your worthiness itself causes mental depression a lot of it. So like you asked, force positivity, instead of making you feel more resilient about life, it is actually giving us a lie and it's pushing us to a weak area. It's pushing us to feel not worthy about feeling how we are feeling, right? So that is what it is. And there's another school of thought again. It says how positive thinking and it affects your heart and health and all those things. There are so many studies on this, but you have to find your truth and you have to believe that. That's what I would say.
Okay. So the gist of forced positivity is that instead of literally forcing that positivity inside of you, you can, one way to go about is to stand up to what you feel that day, and believe that it is okay to feel like that. and face that emotion, I think.
Yeah, yeah, totally, Nitya. I mean, if you are faced by certain emotions, instead of ignoring them, we just need to,
Exactly.
stand up to them.
Yeah, exactly. That
Yeah.
is a difference. And I think in today's generation or this world or whatever we call it, the concept of true love has itself changed. Meaning, once you love someone, irrespective of being friends or any other relationship, you feel like you own them. That you're not
Hmm.
allowed to talk to another person, or you're not allowed to give the same importance to another person, or there's
Hmm.
so many complications and drama follow that. So what do you think about today's relationship and true love?
You're asking about true relationships and what is relationship and all that. So I feel this is my truth, right? So you have to find your truth. This is my truth. My truth about relationships are, we are all individuals, right? Unique individuals, as different as our thumbprint and our tongue print. We are that unique. We're so different. Two people, twins, can be born out of the same mom, and they would have different preferences in life. Different. You agree with me on that?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Likings
Everyone is a
is
unique individual.
unique. We are unique and we are so different. Sometimes we ourselves don't know what we want in life and what we are feeling in life, right? We are so different, and we have to understand who we are in the first place. Now, being this unique, for having another person to get along with us is a commitment, right? We have to
Mm,
decide, okay, this person is going to be with that. It Relationships are about nurturing two people to grow. That's all it is. I have my own set of happiness, my own set of ambitions, my own set of wishes for life. And I will have to take care of my happiness, and I have to take care of what works for me and my ambitions. And I work towards that. And I have another person like Nitya, like Hamdan, who I get along with. I get along, and it is easy for me to have conversations with them. And I have a chosen group like that. And these two individuals have decided to come together and nurture each other. So I nudge you to grow and become a better form of you, and you help me in becoming a better form of me. And we have committed to forgive each other, we've committed to laugh with each other, we committed to be gentle and kind with each other. And that's about it. That's what is the meaning of relationships. Coming to this differentiation of romantic, you guys have to go and read about romanticizing as a concept that got developed from the 18th century. Okay, today's market thrives on the concept of romanticizing, and we've been sold out. Every app, every
mm,
fashion,
yes, yes.
every book, every movies is about the concept of romanticizing and romantic. It sells like hot potatoes, and we are buying it. That's what is happening. So there is actually no differentiation between a normal relationship love and a romantic love. That is hyped. A day is celebrated, and we are just buying the concept of it. You have to look into and research and understand, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I in this relationship? Is this bringing in positive change to me? Again, am I spending too much of time in this? Is it disrupting my responsibilities, my ambitions, my goals, my in life? Is it pulling me down or building me up? You have to ask these questions. Is it suffocating me? Is it letting me grow? You have to ask yourself these questions, and you have to be brutally honest. You have to answer those questions. You have to tell, am I in this because this guy is the most popular guy, or am I in this because she is really really pretty? She's not going to be pretty soon. So you should take all those things into consideration. Make wise choices, guys. You all know better. Who am I to say, right? Make wise choices.
Exactly. Let each other grow and nurture each other. I think you were hitting the bullseye when you said that about relationship.
Yeah.
Everyone can agree to that.
Yeah, exactly. For any relationship to be successful, you need to give in a lot. Of course, there are a number of factors involved too, and it's not easy. And similarly, in life, you're going to be confronted by a number of things, and it's all about you standing up to them or just giving up. And you need to stand up to them, you need to keep pushing on. Doesn't matter the number of times you fall down, it's about that courage inside you that makes you stand up and start all over again. Um, I like to quote a small excerpt from this book, Game of Thrones. It's the first book of the series. It's a conversation between Bran Stark and Eddard Stark. Bran Stark asks Eddard Stark, who is his father, can a person be courageous when he
Mm.
is afraid? And to that, Eddard Stark replies, that is the only time a person can be courageous. And those two lines are amazing. I just love them. So the next time you're facing through a situation which absolutely breaks you, or um, makes you feel sore, or you just want to give up at some point, uh, you need to find that courage inside you that's been there all along.
Yeah, Hamdan, I completely agree with you. What you just said is 100% true. And most of us today uh, have that inner voice inside of you. No matter what you're going through, something inside of you tells you that you can get through this. But us being ourselves, we tend to suppress that voice. We try as much as possible to shut on that voice. One thing that I would tell it to everyone, and from whatever we have spoken until now, is that listen to that voice inside of you. Like ma'am said in the conversation, our generation does not need anything as a milestone or any huge drastic change. We have it figured out already. It's just that you have to sit with yourself and listen to that voice and follow that voice inside of you. It will lead you to wonders. So just as yes. So
I would just like to add, and I would
sure,
just
ma'am.
like to leave you all with this thought in mind, right? Think about your past. Think about the areas that you've crossed and how you stood up in times of turmoil, in times of difficulties you would have faced, right? This is the most competitive uh, era ever. People are competent, everybody is doing well in their studies, everybody is going out there and grabbing opportunities and going for the kill. And this is how it is. The fight is real. Think about how you managed it so far. You have been resilient. Don't forget your past. So it is about until the point when you decide to give up, life is not over. So you shouldn't give up. You getting beaten in the boxing ring and you've fallen down, they won't say you're out. But if you fail to get up from the ring, when
Exactly.
you fail to get up and when you decide to give up is when you actually give up, right? So the fight is still on as long as you are there, as long as you decide I'm there and you know what are your strengths, how you've come so far, right? Until that point everything is in place. The only suggestion I would do is be aware of what's going on outside you and what's going on inside you. More important, what's going on inside you. Spend some time with yourself every day. Let the mobile or let anything else not be the last thing that you end your day with. Before going to sleep, that 10 minutes, no, usually when we go and search for somebody's picture or something in the mobile,
Worst case
you know.
scenario, we fall asleep on the screen nowadays.
Yeah,
Literally on the screen.
the phone falling on the face. We should give a name for that. Right? So please don't get in there and spend that time with yourself. Just ask yourself this question: what do I want in life? Am I going in the right direction? Till yesterday you didn't go in that direction, that's fine. From today you decide this is what I want in my life and I'm going to go for that. It's just your UG. You have the entire life ahead. Take it from someone who is much, much elder to you. It's not such a big deal here. Whichever college, whichever course, whichever whatever you've done, you are ending up you are ending up in the same organization, right? Most of them are
Yeah.
vice presidents of some branch nowadays, right? It's not such a big deal. Go easy on yourself, right? Love yourself for who you are, how unique you are, how amazing you are, right? Just love yourself so much, right? And when you're happy, like I say, happy mother is a more giving mother, a happy individual is a more giving individual. Once you're happy with yourself, you would blossom. You will come out in flying colors and you will be going out of your way to help another individual. And when you see the warning signs, keep a watch on that. Try and help a friend who is going through that, and you help yourself. Seek help, right? It's okay to cry, it's okay to fumble, it's okay to do all the mistakes that you've done. Trust me, your parents, your teachers, you, everybody has done something or the other in their life, right? So it's not just you. Embrace yourself and go for it. That's all I want to add. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. God bless you all. God bless you all. Thank you, guys.